Welcome back to the Beef and Barnsey Show, and just a few days late because he big-timed us a few days ago. We do have a special guest today, but before that, as usual, I'm joined by my internet personality and the talent and the brains behind this show, Beef Stew.
What's going on, Christopher? I'm trying. I do have a logo on. It's just not very bright.
It looks like a soccer jersey you're wearing.
No, it's a shirt that Schlem did probably about 3 years ago that came in a really snug size. But it ain't snug no more, so it got
maybe it's the vertical stripes are making it look svelte. Maybe that's what we're going with. All right.
Athletic fit. So what have you been up to the last few days?
Well, I'm back in my home stomping grounds where I grew up in Topeka, Kansas. Been here with my sister and telling old stories and basically, how much better we were back then than we actually were back then. And went out, took my nephew out, and we bowled a little bit and got to see Bob Benoit at the bowling center helping out a high school team.
Nice, Bob. Love Bob. Is he still a bail bondsman?
He's a lot of things, I think. I think he still dabbles, as I understand. And then woke up this morning and there's a couple inches of snow on the ground. So,
Yeah, I saw a just one second. I'm trying to share this show. I saw a video from New York City the other day, and a guy took his smartphone, and it was an iPhone 12 or whatever, and he dropped it, and the thing vanished.
Oh,
and then he showed it. There was I think it was just over 2 feet of snow, and he's put his arm, and he's like, "Oh shit, I might have lost this thing." It just vanished. Oh. So he eventually pulled it back up. So that was that was pretty entertaining. So yeah, we've got a man who knows a lot about snow, though.
We do. And yeah, but before we bring him on, we're gonna visit with one of our sponsors, and we'll play his.
Mark Baker here. Are you struggling with your game? Do you need another set of eyes? Is there that one thing in your game you just can't fix? Please let me help you. Go to markbakerbowling.com, click on virtual lessons, and follow the 3 easy steps. Remember, you can live anywhere in the world, and with virtual lessons, I can help you. Look forward to seeing your videos. Thank you.
Smooth as butter, that intro, Bards.
Yeah, I'm nailing it. That's what I do. Before I finished, nice job. There's a reason why you're the talent. With that being said, and no further ado, to see what else I can mess up here. With 4 titles, 2 of them majors, 2 U.S. Opens, though. So what's that make? Effectively 6, 7, 8 titles? I don't know.
I was about to say a third of a world championships, if you want to compare the checks.
Yeah. There's also that. But in status, and that's what we're really all here for, Stu, is the status.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's all about it.
And without a doubt, one of the most charismatic players on the PBA tour. And we'll discuss that and how his impact goes there. A former Wichita State fellow alum and Team Canada member and gold medalist, Francois Lavoie.
Hi, guys. How are you?
We're good. So I'm pretty much assuming that you don't know why we've got the title, how we've got it today. But last night you were featured on Sweep the Rack.
Oh, yeah?
You can say you don't know what Sweep the Rack is, but anyway, you were on Sweep the Rack.
I've heard of them. They're no Beef and Barnsey, but I've heard of them.
Right. So let me just find it. Yeah, there it is. So I'll just add it to the stream and we'll play it.
PBA celebrity or Chris Paul events, right? But I mean, Yeah, look, like Nelly and Kimberly Pressler didn't do her rap research. You know, maybe she should have reached out to our boy Bill. I bet you Bill could have schooled her a little bit on some rap. But that being said, Kevin Williams is, I think, he's a great personality for the PBA. The PBA actually needs him. Guys like him and Kyle Troop, imagine them bowling each other would be a pretty awesome spectacle, honestly, because of their personality. And I think he's got some charisma too. Now, on the other hand, you got Frankie Lavoie, or is that how you say his last name? I don't want to butcher it. My man is boring, dude. I swear, like, he's like this generation's like Steve Jaros or like Mark Scroggins. The man to me is a great bowler, but as for like entertainment value and personality, he just like doesn't show it on TV. He's just like a robot, man. It's like watching Throwbot at the USPC, headquarters bowl. He just gets up, he just throws a shot. I feel like I'm watching The Walking Dead, without the,
Wow.
Right. It's a great bowler, man. But personally, I like watching the shows for like personality and charisma and entertainment, not to see Throwbot throw a shot and then come back, and then Throwbot throw another one and come back. And but I get it. Like, look, like a lot of the greatest bowlers are robots. That's how they have to be, because their emotions, they're just not, they don't show emotion. Not everybody could be Pete Weber, and do what he does and still keep his, mind right on bowling. So I get it, Frankie. It's not a bag on you, dude. It's who you are. And I know you're a funny dude. I've heard you have a really good personality, but like, as for TV show personality, it's just not, I'm not excited when Frankie Lavoie is on the show. Let's just put it like that.
Rob, can I ask what the hell happened to the intros?
So there we go.
There's a lot to digest there, isn't there?
Yeah, because the thing is right, in the last week, right, you've been featured on our YouTube channel, and your release has been compared to Mike Fagan. I'm not quite sure what they were watching with that one, but Mike Fagan.
I have heard that comparison before with my backswing, actually, when my backswing was a little higher, and I didn't personally really see it, but
no,
he's one that's come up before.
But then you got compared to Norm Duke by Belmo on the shows. That's okay. That was pretty nice. Now you're being compared to not Mike Scroggins, the Hall of Famer, but his brother Mark.
Speaking of doing research for a show, you have like one job is to actually know the bowlers' names. But hey, when you're from Long Island, you can kind of do whatever you want, I guess.
So no doubt that Linda was cheering you on because she's married to Boren.
Yeah, I mean, what I got from this whole clip that you just played was, I heard Throwbot mention. I think I'll just take the compliment being compared to Throwbot and throw the rest away.
We have Charlie Tapp here, who has actually won things in his day. Bore the shit out of them, Frankie, and keep collecting them checks. So anyway, I have done a little bit of research, and Rob has a couple of brothers. So he's one of three. And his brother Dave is the pretty one, and his brother Jeff is the smart one. So I don't know what that leaves your role in the family, Rob.
Well,
so yeah, I mean, we just felt like that we should throw it out there. I don't necessarily think he's wrong, but it did seem like it was. He did pick on you in a show that you bowled Kevin Williams, which is like,
right?
That is like completely the polar opposites. It's easy to have a good time on the show, Rob. Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds to me like they're looking for the Cirque du Soleil with Kyle and Kevin. They're not looking to watch bowling.
You've watched Long Island bowling, right? That's pretty much all they got to rely on.
It's all right. I'd like to see Rob on the show. Everybody loves watching the 610 get spared.
Sometimes.
Rob's very good at leaving the 610. We bowled a match. We've done that one to death, but Rob left the 610 quite a lot. I was kind of upset that he left the 610. I was hoping he'd split just one more time, but so we've got a couple of things. Throwbot to the bank just doesn't agree. So yeah,
I think I am pretty excited and out there. It's just the camera never syncs up to my moves. That's what it is. It always happens when the camera's looking away.
I do feel like now you've had 2 300s on TV, you should really work on like a celebration for the third one, because the last one you kind of went, oh shit, I did it again.
Yeah, the last one I just kind of put my arms up like this.
Yeah, you were like, come out.
I should come up with a move.
Are you not entertained? Out of that, but
yeah, I do need to come up with a move because it's inevitably going to happen again.
I do like the fact that Mr. Vike creates, compares you to a fart.
Here's one that's pretty good. I met Francois at the car rental in Reno, and I didn't fall asleep talking to him, not even once.
That's nice. Question mark?
Thanks.
Good bowling is boring to watch, but getting paid is amazing. Well, there's that. Maybe you should promise Rob if you shoot 300 in the final, like you'll rip your shirt off and run around and run up and kiss Coley on the mouth or something.
Yeah, I need to come up with something crazy. Do a backflip off the ball return or something.
Yeah, do a backflip off the ball return, paralyze yourself, and have to use the 1.25 million to be able to eat through a straw for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
He was inside.
Yeah. You wouldn't know part of that internal flame going on right there.
Yeah.
It's always the quiet ones you have to watch out for. You go back to the paddock. Some good.
Yeah, with all the cameras, it's a little harder to boot the ball return.
I mean, Rick Ramsey brings up a good point. I have said this to Kyle many times. You're one haircut away from nobody knowing who the fuck you are. Oh dear. So anyway, talk us through what it was like down there, what the situation was. Being as the way you qualified, I guess the lanes weren't that much easier for you on the TV than they were when we bowled in Garland.
No, they were quite a bit easier. The first word that comes to mind when I think of that whole show or that whole weekend is just hot. It was really hot, and it wasn't unbearably hot outside. It was just really hot inside. The TV pair I think was 9 and 10. And they had us walk in through the side doors because the bowling center was closed for the shows. But the side doors were open all day long, and so you get that Florida heat, mostly the humidity. I woke up that morning. It was about 78. Perfect weather technically, but about 96% humidity. Kind of makes that feel a lot closer to 95, and so. It was just really, really hot. They did a good job, making the approaches normal on the TV pair, but the approaches in the rest of the building were pretty tacky. So that's another thing to kind of mess you up. You're practicing for hours on the practice pairs that are super tacky. You get to the normal TV pair where the approaches are normal. They actually feel like they're super slick because you've just been bowling for hours on the tacky approaches. So. A lot of little things like that overall made me pretty uncomfortable. So maybe the lack of personality was that I was uncomfortable. That's what it was.
You might be uncomfortable to use this guy's catchphrase.
Yeah, we need to toe the line. We need to find something that's not going to get me fined, or that's not going to get me thrown out of the PBA forever, but that's also going to make the rounds online and on every TV station.
I think Charlie Chapp and Dale Eagle collaborated for this idea. Get your own merch, Frank Lavoie mood rings.
Yeah.
Then everybody would know without you having to tell them.
Mm-hmm. Maybe have on the Specto thing. Maybe have the mood ring color there at some point.
Exactly. Yeah, they could maybe have it as
another stat.
Yeah, as a stat.
Being a robot and everything, it's just a stat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the heart rate monitor would be one thing. If they could do a blood pressure monitor sometimes,
yeah,
that might be the real interesting part.
Yeah, like I say, if they did that and they had it up there, it could be just as accurate as Specto, and people could take it seriously.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, or I was being mean. It's exactly. I mean, it definitely was 7 revs more that shot than the previous shot. Definitely.
What?
With the Specto numbers going up and down.
Oh.
I actually didn't see that show. I wonder what my rev rate was this week.
Well, you had a couple at 350.
There you go.
But then you started clubbing on it late on. I think the adrenaline got to you. You got up to like 375.
Yeah, I moved a board left.
Mm-hmm.
You got in the oil a little bit. Got to go up.
Yeah.
So what was the what was your thought process when because I feel like you put yourself in a bit of a mess when you decided to try and take 3 off the right in the 8th frame.
Yeah.
What was your thought process going up in the 10th? Because obviously we've all been there where we throw one really bad on the lane and you're not as comfortable with it, and then knowing that you needed a strike, I thought that was that first shot you threw was that might be one of the best shots I'd seen almost anybody throw on TV. Like, it was absolutely 10 back.
The first one was obviously really good, and I made a move from the shot in the 8th. So if we back up a little bit more, the shot in the 6th, I thought I threw a little bit firm, because on that right lane I was trying to be a little bit firmer and a little bit straighter. The left lane was a little more blended, and that's the one I kind of wanted to circle a little bit more. So in the 6th, I threw it a little firm, and I saw the ball just hook from the spot that it was supposed to, and I thought, well, if it's going to hook with that speed, then I can just throw it as hard as I want to, and it's going to see that spot, and it's going to do the right thing. So I got up in the 8th, and I had one thought in my mind, and that was because I didn't make a move then, and I didn't want to go high. So the one thought in my mind was keep up the speed, and I did that, but I also leaked it right, and so it didn't see that spot, and left the 1-2-4-8, I think it was. So when I got back in the 10th, I kind of went back to, all right, let's maybe not throw this one 65 miles an hour, and let's just make sure it comes off my hand the right way, and yeah, I think by that point my thumb had shrunk enough with the little fan they gave us. That was an interesting kind of roller coaster of feels in that show. Like I said, it was really hot, so I got there. As soon as I got to the TV show, I asked Carissa, who was there, for a sweat rag, because I was that hot. I wanted to wipe off my forehead.
You don't really sweat.
No, exactly. I don't really sweat. The mask that we had on is kind of it's a different fabric from the ones I normally bowl with. I normally bowl with just the regular medical blue ones, but that one was a little bit thicker, and so it was kind of a little bit tougher to breathe in that one. It didn't. So I got back and I was doing the mustache wipe with the sleeve and asked for a sweat rag. So as soon as I sat down on the show, I'm using the fan. I've got it on my face. I put my hand right next to it the entire time to try to get the swelling down from my hand that's so hot. So I bowl a couple frames. Then Kevin's up for his it would be 3rd and 4th frame, and I get up when I'm up next, and now I put my fingers in the ball and I'm like, oh, now they've shrunk a little bit because I've had it next to the fan this entire time, so now they're actually cold. So I get through those 2 shots and I come back and I think, how do I get this to swell up again? I can't. I don't want it to keep shrinking by having next to the fan. So I put my hand in my pocket for the entire 2 frames.
Of course you did. That's what you were doing.
Exactly. So I put my hand in my pocket,
You got to be
For-
kidding me.
for
Those
those
skinny
two
jeans, I don't know how he got them in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to wiggle it in there. So Kevin goes up and bowls, and I've got my hand in my pocket that whole time. I get back up again, hoping it would be swollen again, or back to normal at least. And I get up, and it was back to normal. But now the problem is it's sweaty because it's been in my pocket for this whole
I
time.
have a question.
Yeah.
Was it your time of the month? What in the like?
It must have been. It must have.
If
It
you
felt
were a
like
tape guy,
menopause.
you would have changed tape more times than Norm in those 5 minutes.
Yeah. No. It felt like menopause out there.
You're not allowed to say that.
Oh, thanks, Frankie. You know who my next
So,
mentor is going to be from.
See, he's not boring, Rob. So I think all Rob was, I think Rob's just picking on you because you don't hook it.
Maybe.
Because I mean, Belmo's not exactly a thrill a minute,
Yeah. Well.
and you know he's two-handed. Probably. Oh dear.
That's good.
Frank, you just need to speak French. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
And we'll
Exactly.
take
It's
it,
my
and I
first
can
language.
verify that. He
That's
said
not-
lots of things that you can't say.
If
But-
I get in trouble, oh, that's not what I meant to say. It's not my first language.
Linda says she'll buy one.
Are you paying Sloan royalties when you win?
Is that because he's Lucky Charm?
Ah!
Good ones. But
Knew that wouldn't take long. But that being said, she'll buy one. There you go.
there we go. Yeah. So I just made sure to try to get it off my hand the right way in the 10th frame. The second shot in the 10th actually got a little bit right quick, and so that's why I overbounced, and because I wanted to be, kind of on top of that friction line, if you want to call it that, but just got it a little right too quick. I didn't want to keep it in, and got away with the 4-pin. And as soon as I heard people say, the commentators were surprised I was switching lanes in the roll off, but to me it was 100. It made sense. It was 100% clear. I wasn't going to go back to the lane where I went miss the head pin, strike 4-pin when you get one shot to try to get a strike. On the other lane, I'd only left the 10-pin on the left lane, so it made complete sense to me to go there. I'm not sure what they were shocked about, really.
I think it's more that it's unusual.
Yeah.
Because you did the main
can see that.
advantage. The main advantage for the top seeders, you get to pick the lane that you just bowled on, and the other guy hasn't bowled on.
Right.
It was just that was a fairly unique circumstance.
And that being said, I mean, in hindsight, I chose the wrong lane in that match. Because so my thought process to choose that lane to finish on was when I was throwing the practice shots, even though the two lanes were different from each other, I didn't really think that one of them was harder than the other.
Right.
And so just looking at the match before that between Packy and Kevin, it just seemed like for the lefties, for them, the left lane was a little trickier. And so that's kind of what I went with, because I didn't have a difference in how difficult the lanes were. I just figured I'll make him finish on the lane that's a little tougher. And in hindsight, I mean, I obviously should have finished on the left lane, but.
So you hear that, guys out there? All those coaches who tell you finish first. My man's got 2 US Opens. He ain't scared of finishing the match. Yes, I'm talking to you, Jacob. I'm talking to you.
And joined by the good and the great. Kevin, I appreciate you giving me one more frame of TV time. Such a nice.
Yeah, I don't know if your incentives are based on the number of frames you bowled, but I might have helped you out there if that's the case.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you going to ask him for? A free Chipotle? You got 50 grand. You got 14. Yeah. Yeah, but you got a better incentive. Hit a brother up here.
Yeah. I'll get you a Coke. Bag of chips.
So there you go. The great and the good joining the show. Frank Boofer bowling. Stone Cold Francois Lavoie from Canada, simply amazing.
Yeah, I get a lot of support from Canada. I think the Canadians aren't worried about the personality. It's too cold out there to worry about stuff like that.
Well, it's not like they've got like who are you going up against? Milos Raonic
Yeah.
and
Rowe.
and the Toronto Raptors. No, I meant like people who are like in mainstream sports. Like Canada doesn't have that much to cheer for. They can't even win the hockey.
Well,
I mean, NHL, when was the last time the Stanley Cup was in Canada?
I don't know, but 80% of the players on every team is Canadian.
Yeah, but they can't get them on their team, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I'll get you a tap water.
Yeah, not bottled water. Right knows about that.
Yeah.
Says, George Lambert has been talking about you for years and years. So
that's funny. He's been talking about me, but not to me.
Maybe Frankie can be in Kevin's next music video.
I'd be down for that.
Yeah,
that'll showcase the personality.
Yeah, party in the pool.
There you go. See, Canada's got Drake and Francois.
Exactly, and Jim Carrey.
To be honest, Drake could probably come in cheering for you. Then, if Kyle won, he'd walk out with Kyle. He's like the dog of supporters. Here you go. Our Cool Wick boss here. Canada gave us the best professional sport to watch and poutine. I'm a fan.
Is that curling?
Now we just got to work on that hockey team of yours, Cliff.
Why didn't they win?
Yeah, but I mean,
Tampa Bay's going to be center of the universe. They're going to have the Stanley Cup. They're going to have the Lombardi Trophy, and they were second in the World Series. I mean, what more do you want?
Then wants to hear you freestyle. You could one up Kevin.
I don't know. I'm not quick enough on my feet.
I'm not sure about that. He goes.
Yeah, I'm in. You got to release it at like midnight when nobody knows about it, and then I'll release my diss track about 3 days later.
So we've got a couple.
Kevin. It actually should be at least 35,000 because it could be way more than that.
JS. That's what the kids say, isn't it, Kevin?
Yeah.
Oh dear. So so Belmo was in fine form, telling everybody how the ball you were using was absolutely amazing. And Rob Stone said, "It has your logo on it." Well, thank you, Rob. Yes, it does. Look at that.
Yeah. That's great.
He managed to tell the world this is the ball that he shot 300 on TV. The only thing he didn't do was say that he bowled 300 on TV against Sean Rash, which I thought he might have dropped in there.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't.
Just cause.
This is close to Tupac and Biggie versus Biggie's we're going to get.
Who?
Even I know. Come on, man.
I don't know which one of us is Tupac and which one of us is Biggie.
Ain't Tupac dead?
Yeah, but skinny.
There you go. Is your favorite ball the trend?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, it's making a pretty convincing argument, isn't it?
Well, it kind of depends on whether Belmo's going to, hook a brother up here. You'll say whatever he wants you to say for the right price.
Yeah, I saw Darren wanted to get sponsored by Belmo, and I mean, in my opinion, there's an obvious better choice here than Darren if Belmo's looking to sponsor somebody.
I mean, like Steve Miller says, if it didn't happen on TV, it didn't happen. So, and Darren's things on TV seem to revolve around the Alpha Crux or the Pitch Black. I mean, it's not like they're terrible choices, but
they're not Belmo balls.
It's not Belmo balls.
Yeah.
So yeah.
M&M versus M&M Light. That's not bad. But Kevin says he'll hold off for now.
All right.
Well,
Sounds good.
Well, I mean, the Sweep the Rat guys might like you more if Kevin came up with a diss track for you. I mean,
Yeah.
I know that's high on your list of priorities, having a show that had 435 views yesterday. Like you.
Yeah. I mean, I got nothing.
It's kind of what Rob said.
Pretty much.
Oh well. Do you have any more for us, Frank? I think we might keep this one short and sweet today. We kind of covered a lot of the stuff from the show. What's your schedule looking like going down there? When do you have to be down there? Like, what's the process down there? Because we've had a lot of hearsay on the show rather than actual info.
Right. Yeah, we actually just got some official information yesterday about the schedule and all that. So I think it's going to be a 3-game total pinfall match to determine the seeds, and that's going to be on the TV pair, and it'll be broadcasted on Flow. So for all of you who have Flow Bowling, you'll be able to watch the seeding round for the Players Championship final. And then so that'll be the day before on the 20th of February, and the 21st will be the live final on Fox. And so I'll head down there probably a few days ahead of time and get acclimated to that Florida heat. I might practice in a couple of sweatshirts to get used to that environment, because we are going to spend about a month there after that. So it'd be a good idea to not be uncomfortable for a month.
Frankie, what's your thoughts on bowling on a somewhat different pattern in the finals compared to what you all qualified on?
It was surprising to me. I kind of thought that they would have the number 1 seed from each region decide on one of the 4 patterns we qualified on. But that was just me assuming, and we all know what happens when you assume.
So which interesting question that though. Which pattern would you have chose from that then?
I really don't know. I never really got to think about it, because the announcement that it was going to be on this different pattern came out pretty soon after we got done bowling. So I never really even got to think about it. I really don't know, because I probably wouldn't have wanted a pattern that the purple hammer was in play, but then again, it was on all of them. So, you know.
Well, the other problem with that is, like, I feel like we did that. I got to do that for the World Championships. Big Mike's texting me. He's like, "Damn, son, I just got in time for you to roast us about our views." I'm really roasting Rob, Mike. You're just on the side. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. But I got to pick for the World Championships the one year. So I picked the one that I won on because that seemed the obvious. But I actually had some experience of that lane that we were bowling on. But it would have been a really weird deal because I guess you'd have had to choose before you got there.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
So patterns out. So then you're cutting your own throat. Sometimes it's better to not know, because you don't have that like dread. And let's be honest, if they were going to pick a pattern, picking the one that you shot 300 on, like the last time there was a TV show, probably wasn't the worst choice for you.
Yeah, no, it probably wasn't. And I mean, in retrospect, obviously, after the fact, knowing that I won, the answer to the question would be, I'll bowl on whatever they want me to bowl. But, you know, I don't know. It would have been a tough decision. I don't know what I would have done, because, like you said, we're going to be in a different – everything's going to be different. So the one thing they could have kept the same, which was the oil we bowled on in Garland, they also changed. So,
well, they actually changed the lane machine as well.
Right. So everything about it was different. So, yeah, that would have been an interesting choice. So
I get asked about this when we go from one venue to another for the finals. How much practice did you guys get on the TV pair and on the pattern that you end up using and those kind of things?
Yeah, we had 2 practice sessions on the TV pair. The day before the show, we got like a little 30-minute practice session, and about an hour or so before we taped our show, we had another practice session, which then they stripped and re-oiled, and then we went into the usual the 5-man kind of scattered 20-minute practice session right before the show. So we had 2 full practice sessions, and then the little bit you get, the 8 minutes that you get prior to the show actually starting.
TV warm up.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, the TV pair was quite a bit different from the warm up pairs that we were on. So.
Yeah, that was really a huge problem at the playoffs. Was that they were more close.
Right.
Except you didn't get any time on the TV pair either, so it was a complete.
Yeah.
You shooting 300 on that, I would have lost every money on the whole field. Anyone doing it. So, yeah. But did they play fairly close then once you got on from the practice sessions to the TV show, other than the practice pair?
From the practice sessions on the TV pair, yeah, they were fairly close.
Okay, that's good. That's an improvement over past where, let's say in Oklahoma, you go over to the other place and you get you're gonna go 20 minutes on a pattern that you're gonna bowl an hour and a half on, and basically the leader lost every single event.
Yeah, and I think part of that is the West had the live show just before we were on, so they likely had their practice ahead of time there too. So I think with the amount of re-oils they had there, which might have contributed to some of the inconsistencies of the playoffs, where they didn't oil the same pattern on that pair too many times before people actually started bowling. I don't know. You need to get JJ on the show to talk about stuff like that, but
we've had him on before.
Yeah.
Mark Buffett says, what's going to happen with Neil's position prize money? Because, so the position thing is going to be a little weird, but the prize money is really simple. Wherever Tim Foy finishes, they're going to add the 4,000 that Tim Foy would have got for being 6th to whatever the prize is that where Tim Foy finishes. And I don't know how he bowled on the show because it's coming up. And then they will divide those 2 checks by 2. So, for example, if Tim Foy lost the first match, I believe it was 10,000 to make the show, they'll each get 7,000 apiece is how it's going to work.
And it was spelled out actually in roll call at the regionals it's not something that got made up on the fly. That was we all knew up front.
Yeah. And just out of curiosity, does Frankie cuss out other bowlers in French when they make him mad?
No, I just cussed them out in English.
Yeah, I was about to say. See, there are very few people in my life who I've ever seen who find it better to swear in their own language than English. English is by far got the best. The Finnish guys are about the only guys who swear in Finnish, and we found it very funny because we were watching there was a Winter Olympics or something in Finland, right? And the commentator comes on and goes, one of the first things I've learned while in Finland is that in the Finnish language, they don't have any swear words. And I thought that was really nice. And I was like, wow, one Finnish guy's been screwing with you. So we paused it, rewound it, and we're like, did he really just say that? And played it again. I'm like, sure shit he did.
We both bowled with Passy and Mika, so I'm relatively certain that's not true.
Yeah. So yeah, it's oh, there you go. Santiago, a pretty good bowler from Colombia.
Very good.
On the national team, says, Frankie, do you spend time working on your mental game, or is it just natural from that? Or is it just a natural strength for you?
I mean, yeah, I've had some mental game training in my time at Wichita State, and that helped me a lot with my mental game. My mental game is still erratic at times, but I think most of the time the work I do on my mental game isn't off the lanes. It's during competition. I try to have I don't really know how to explain it, but I try to have a good mental game every time I go out, and then if it wasn't good, then I kind of try to figure out why and what happened, and try to do better the next time. But in between tournaments, I don't necessarily try to work on my mental game so much.
Well, if you can get that emotional level a little flatter on TV, evidently that's a work in progress.
I do think, though, from a standpoint of mental game, I feel like having belief in your physical game helps your mental game significantly.
Yeah, I've always thought the best mental preparation is to be physically ready. It's the same thing you just said. I think if the belief and if you go out there and there's something wrong with your footwork and all that, it's kind of tough to throw a shot when you need it. It's kind of tough to focus mentally when well, I have to make sure my footwork is right, so.
Yeah, true internal confidence will do a lot to cover up a lot of things.
It's like it's like why the young guys do so good. The old phrase has never been truer: young, dumb, and full of cum.
Lots of T-shirt quotes today. It's great.
Did anybody just on another side? Did anybody happen to see my Twitter yesterday? I retweeted Rory McIlroy talking about golf clubs. Oh my God. It's like he dug into my brain and he started talking about bowling balls, but was still talking about golf clubs. It was amazing. He couldn't have summed up my feelings about balance holes and then dicking around with like specs on bowling balls more if he tried. Amazing. Amazing. Deck chair off the back of the Titanic was pretty much the summation of it. And yeah, fantastic. Attaboy, Roars. Attaboy. But anyway, if you want to review the video, it was they were asking him about them changing the clubs and stuff to stop people hitting it as far and changing the equipment and the ball. And he's just like, and he was basically saying that the RNA and the PGA are just they're fixing an issue that affects 0.01 of the people who play, and it's just stupid, and it just don't principally. And like I say, that's kind of what I think about the balance hole issue. That was a professional bowling issue. It wasn't really a game issue. But anyway, hi, Chad. No one says more F-bombs during a block than Frankie. I'm not sure about that. I think me and Dom running pretty close.
Yeah, definitely.
Although Dom is kind of a fan of a C-bomb every now and again.
Yeah, he is.
We're gonna leave that one off the T-shirt.
Yeah, speaking of T-shirts, maybe if Rob wants to contact me, I'm looking to develop my own brand. So if he's got any ideas for me, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, that is true. We do have a lot. We have a lot of swear words, but a lot of them. It's really interesting. The swear words in Quebec, in French, they all relate to the church somehow. And I guess it's because I mean, it obviously dates back a long time, but probably only members of the clergy were allowed to say those words. So it became like sacrilege to say them out loud. So now that's all our swear words are like relate to the church. So like the chalice and the tabernacle and all that stuff. Those French words are swearing, and you can make them nouns, verbs, adjectives. It doesn't matter. You just adapt them however you need them. It's great.
Nice. Good. I think Dom knows some of those. He was very happy talking to Mark's wife about them. When he gets drunk, Dom picks up a lot of things. This is a very great question from Frank.
Why do people keep voting Frankie for the Sportsmanship Award? An even better question is, how did Brad Miller win the Sportsmanship Award?
Oh, I know how Brad Miller won the Sportsmanship Award.
Go on.
Well, he decided to run the players committee, and
Yeah.
he didn't win a title. If he'd have won a title, done.
Yeah.
If he starts off bowling as good this year as he did last year, done. It's like I always have this same laugh with Nathan. My first 5 years on tour, Nathan was on the ballot every single year. Made one show, never been on the ballot ever again.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, man, Nathan, you made one 16-man show, and now everybody thinks you're an asshole.
So I guess Smallwood, because Smallwood won it last year, a couple of years ago, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he must be the exception to the rule. He must actually be a good guy.
No, he just shoots animals. I think there is quite the theme here. This is why I'm baffled as to why Dom gets on the ballot, because Frankie's pretty quiet. Smallwood's fairly quiet. Dom isn't very quiet, especially not when he's had a couple of beers either.
Yeah.
No, him and Sean have more things in common than
I think the only difference is Dom's one of the few people that when he gets smashed, everybody just thinks it's funny.
I don't know how he gets away with it.
No, I know. No, not that many people really get upset with him. About the only person I've ever seen really get upset with him was Matt Gasson's girlfriend, Giselle. She got quite upset with him, and she didn't really see the funny side of it the next day either. But
yeah, there's not many people that have as good a time as Dom does when Dom drinks.
No, I say this all the time. If I had as much fun drunk as Dom does, I'd drink all the time. It's brilliant. Nothing bad ever happens to him. Nobody sees it as he was being an ass the next day. They're all good with it. It's very odd. But sorry, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I'm going to put Frankie on the spot. Who's your pick for the TOC and the World Series? Just the overall, considering the centers. I guess you know one of them. You don't know the other one.
Right. Well, the guys who bowled in the South know the second one for the World Series.
Sure.
I think it's foolish to count out Belmo.
Yeah.
You think he's
there's a
first 9 check in about 14 years on tour?
Yeah, I think he's washed up. I think it's over for him.
It's over.
Yeah,
it runs over, Belmo. It was nice.
It's
Tom Brady lasted longer than you. You were still in diapers when Tom Brady started.
Right. I think every major we go to, there's going to be a handful of guys that are going to be in the conversation, and it's the handful of guys that make the shows every time.
Yeah.
Like Belmo, Simo, EJ, and Prather are going to be upset that they didn't make the show of the last one. So I'm sure they're gonna come out swinging.
Chris Vi, Frankie.
Chris Vi he's been hot in the majors.
Frankie,
I wasn't gonna say it, but you guys
did. Someone said, "Yeah, this is great."
Frankie's going for his first time making match play at the TOC, and now that it's not an Akron, it might happen.
Which I find ironic because I think you're awesome at getting the ball through the front, and my ball never goes through the front in that place. So
yeah,
I really don't know. We don't bowl better.
I don't know. I've been the alternate once, and that's as close as I've gotten. Three times, I think.
It's good insight from Cliff. Couch is the same as Dom. That's a fun household right now. Well, I imagine Belmo got plenty of time on air with a tie on, and so I'm doubting he wants to put that back on a whole lot more during this.
Yeah, I'm sure he prefers being on TV in a jersey.
Yeah, and he's got 3 weeks to think about it too, since he pretty much committed to being here the whole time with the quarantine issue going back and forth, and so he basically got an extra month to stay over here with really not a whole lot to do. So
right,
we'll see how that works out for the rest of us, I guess.
So Timmy was asking the question: is Timmy bowling those tournaments?
That is a good question. I don't know. No.
So here's my take on it. The World Series of bowling, I think, is going to be absolutely dominated by Jesper. They bowled on 4 patterns. He took it down. I'm thinking that there you go. He is.
There he is.
I'm thinking that they're going to. I think that they're going to be softer than they were for the Players Championships, just because, like, that's what it is a lot of the time on the PBA Tour. I mean, I think 250 over was the qualifying number that region, so I can't imagine they're going to be that low. I wish they were, but I can't imagine that's going to be the case.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be. I think Tom Doherty's a guy to watch out for. He feels pretty confident in that center. He obviously knows it better than pretty much anybody else in the field. He made the show for that one. I think the TOC. I think Prather is probably licking his chops. He seems to have good juju in that building. He won the strike derby. Despite having one of the worst strike percentages of everybody in it, which was kind of amusing, but whatever. And then he also won the King of Bowling. Yeah, that's what it was called, the King of Bowling thing. So he's obviously going in there feeling pretty good. But yeah, I think it could be I think the TOC could be an interesting one. I feel like the scores are probably going to be quite high for that one.
The only thing more ironic than Frankie shooting 300 at Sean with the Belmo ball is shooting against Belmo. So,
yeah. I mean, that's a win-win. That would be what would that be, a loss win for Belmo?
Right. Yeah.
There you go.
Here's a good one. How many Frankies can Timmy bench? More than one.
Yeah.
Right. Timmy's clarifying. He's bowling the TOC qualifier. He's not bowling the World Series.
Gotcha.
Frankie, Rob Stone or Randy Peterson? Who's your pick?
In what? In a bowling match? In a wrestling match?
I think which one do you prefer? I mean, Rob Stone doesn't critique you, so
I'll take Rob. He's clean cut guy, much like myself. Carries the TV shows with his personalities. Lots of similarities between the two of us.
Exudes enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Yes. Timmy says used to be 3.5.
So if you guys want to check out Sweep the Rack, they're on Wednesday nights. I put the link in the comments. Check them out. Let's see if we can get them to that 1,000 views.
Is that cumulative?
Stop.
Just asking for a friend.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, they have a very different perspective on some of the things, and they have some pretty cool guests on. One thing that I did think was fun from their show last night, they had Benjamin Martinez on, and I'd never seen Benjamin Martinez in person without a mask. Oh, my God. He looks like he's about 12 when he took his mask off. I was like, because when you watch him with the mask, he doesn't look like he's that young because he's got the glasses on and whatever. He doesn't look that young. And you're like, this guy's 22 or whatever, 23. And they took his mask off, and I'm like, that guy's 23 already? Shit, he looks like he's 16. So, yeah,
Benji was great. He was having a good time down in Florida. He was walking around, getting, he got one of the pins, and he was getting autographs from some of the players. He wanted some pictures. He was living the dream.
Yeah, I heard that. He was asking for autographs. That's pretty funny. That was as revealed on the show on Tuesday by Kevin.
Okay.
He was like, "Oh shit, there's Belmo. I'm gonna get his autograph," and he ran up to get his autograph. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Who is the better ping pong player, you or Kenny Benoit?
Kenny was pretty good, and I haven't been practicing in a couple of years, so I'll go with myself.
Ooh, that was almost a cramp. That could have been very entertaining for people at home. I almost got a cramp right on the show. That would have been like, I would have been clicking the button as I was falling, because I am really a little bitch when I get a cramp. It's pathetic. Tina's just always like, seriously, roll into another room and cry. I can actually hear her laughing right now. So, okay, well, we managed to make it to an hour. So people said that this was, Frank, people said that this is reminding them of Happy Hour. Was Happy Hour going to make a comeback?
I don't know if it's going to make a comeback. I think Chris is drinking enough for that to happen.
He's a little less dedicated to it than you were.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is strange, because you were doing better at the bowling. So me and Chris are dedicated to this because we weren't very good at the bowling at the minute. Chris has never been very good at the bowling. So I kind of, I guess there was 1 week in Vegas. That's how we could describe Chris's career right now. 1 week in Vegas.
Yeah, he was heartbroken when he heard that the Masters was changing locations.
Yeah. Has he not heard the adage lightning never strikes twice at the same time? Come on now, brah.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Somebody took yes, sir.
I wouldn't mind it either.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
we'd have to have a whole new arsenal of 6 balls that we don't need in that tournament.
Maybe so.
My poor X1 is not. It's not feeling it. So.
After being told for the last 10 years you can't put more oil in the lane, it'll make the ball just go slower. I'm gonna go with a hard no on that one, and it turns out you can put oil on them that the ball won't hook.
Yeah, how far have you stretched those limits to develop that theory? Not far enough, clearly.
Yeah, because my man put a bottle on every lane, and
yeah. Admittedly, it wasn't like he went from 30 mils to 35.
Right.
More like 80, but
I don't even. He had no idea how much oil he just said.
It might have been triple digits.
Yeah, I used that extra bottle of oil today, and I did 8 lanes less, was what he told me.
Yeah.
He didn't measure in mils. He measured in how many bottles he used.
Yeah.
And Billy, we used to call Billy Robo Bowler, because he used to have, like, you remember Wayne Webb for a little while had like the AccuSwing thing, and Billy used to use the AccuSwing thing on his arm and on his wrist, and so the thing would go and it would click, and then his wrist would go and it would click, and then he was actually a throwbot back before throwbot existed. So yeah. And he says he had to detox his chamois afterwards. I basically just threw it away. I picked it up, like the one I used there, a couple weeks afterwards, and it felt like it was still wet.
Yeah, that was one of my moves at one point at the Snowman, was just a chamois change. It wasn't a ball change; it was a chamois change. That was the move.
Yeah, they were awfully sick. All right, we're at an hour. Frank, is anybody you like to thank here?
Yes, I would like to thank all my sponsors, along with all of yours. Storm, Turbo, Buddies Pro Shop, Cool Wick, and the rest of yours.
That's nice. There we go.
And that being said, we'll put them up there for you. So again, on behalf of Beef and Barnsey, and of course the entertaining and dynamic personality that is Francois Lavoie, please support those small businesses, those bowling centers, get them through this tough time. And of course, when you have a choice, support our sponsors: Storm, Rotogrip, 900 Global, Vice, Turbo, Coolwick, 3G Shoes, Master, Bowlers Mart, and Mark Baker Bowling. You too can have an ad on this show if you'd like. Contact Stu for details. And until next time, stay safe, stay healthy,